quite a recovery from Team India. Looking at the latter stages of their innings, the 100 came up in the 16th over. 104 for 5 at the end of 16 was looking like maybe 140 would have been something they would just have to work with the top order gone. Soon after that, Hardik Pandya was gone, and it was left to that man again. Ravindra Jadeja, his hangover from that final ODI, just carrying forward. Call it hangover, call it momentum. What an innings to finish with. Maybe top scorer, KL Rahul, but the story of the innings has been Jadeja. 44 not out of 23 deliveries, and that too after it appeared that he picked up an injury. Beware the walking wounded, they always say, and Jadeja was living proof of that. Vaughan Zaheer Khan alongside. Never mind 161, we were talking about a score slightly in excess of that. In isolation, it looks slightly short, but in the context of the innings, Zaheer, doesn't look like a bad score on the board.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can say that looking at how they finished it and how they managed to pull the game back again after those cluster of wickets which fell from number 12 over to 16. They managed to score only 18 runs. So, they had to recover that, and that's the difference we're talking about. If considering whatever run rate they were going at, 10 overs, 75 runs, so you would expect those next 5 overs to be at around that run rate, because you've done all the hard yards, you've set that platform. So even if you go at that, you're talking about scoring the 35-40 runs in the next 5 overs, because of those wickets falling in quick succession, hasn't really given them that opportunity to really set it nicely for the back end. The momentum was lost there in those 5 overs, and that's the 20 runs, 25 runs, or maybe more difference you're talking about, which would have got them to a definite winning score on this kind of a track, which is looking a bit on the slower side. Spinners may come into play. Your variations will work nicely. I think India has left them doing a little bit too much now, defending this total, I feel, in the second innings.
Jadeja, that finish, never mind the injury or what the cause was, that his motivation to go only for boundaries, but something seemed to have switched on into him in the last ODI. Maybe he loves the Australian capital.
Yeah, maybe. It's deja vu from the other day. I think we thought that 302 in the ODI wasn't going to be quite enough for India. Well, it was, because the bowled and fielded very well indeed. And they're going to have to do exactly the same again this evening. Jadeja, I think, is a wonderful cricketer. I talked about him and Hardik Pandya the other day. They must be involved in all formats of the game for India. They've just got the right type of energy, the right type of game. They love the big stage. They look in the opponent's eye and take them on always. Jadeja seems to be getting better and better with the bat. I think it's experience, more confidence, just exposing himself to more pressurized situations. And very rarely does he let any team down. Whenever he plays, he's generally always chipping away, either with the ball in hand in the field. He's a gun. He's an incredible fielder. And obviously with the bat in hand, he's very consistent as well. He's a wonderful all-round cricketer. And I agree. I think probably we look at it and think 15-20 short, but you only have to get a few early wickets and you go into that middle order of Australia and you know that you can put them under a huge amount of pressure. I just look at 40 dot balls that India played up until the end of the 18th over. 40 dot balls. That's near on 7 overs of dot balls. If you can activate half of those, you get to that score that we're talking about, the 180 plus. And that'll be something, even if they do win the game, that India will have to put right. They can't be having 40 dot balls inside 18 overs. Yeah,
we'll look at that the bowling figures in a moment, but I quickly want to get Zaheer in. Okay, we'll look at the bowling figures first. And the surprise package was, of course, not a surprise as such. Zampa picking up those wickets, but that early wicket, that breakthrough for Swepson, first look at the second leg spinner. And even though Zampa was probably the one there for Virat Kohli, he was brought in the power play, Zaheer, but it was Swepson who got rid of the Indian captain, and he had a smile on his face. What is it with leg spinners and me?
Well, I think he's not bowled his full quota of overs, but he has done the damage which was expected. So Virat Kohli, the big fish, he's caught that big wicket, and that is something which matters. He's looking like a decent talent. Still early days for him in international cricket. But two leggies certainly work for Australia in this particular game. That gave them the flexibility of using someone like Zampa in the first 6 overs, which is a luxury to have. Moises, I think, was a real luxury for Australia, isn't it, today? He got those big wickets at a crucial time. That certainly changed the momentum of the Indian innings. So that has been the real highlight as far as Australian bowling was concerned. I felt the game was evenly poised, and from there to change the game, when your sixth bowling option changes that for you, it's huge, I think, and then someone needed to just get those breakthroughs. We often talk about how difficult it gets when the partnership is building. Someone needs to put the hand up and get that crucial breakthrough at the right time, which Moises did. Not the ideal matchup. I felt, that fourth over was a bit too much to expect from him when Hardik was batting. But I think the gamble paid off in the end. I mean, it could have gone either way. Hardik was looking really, really good at that stage. To get wicket of Hardik, I felt was a bit of a luck going in his favor at that stage. But nonetheless, I think, that's the kind of gamble. When it pays off, it looks good.
Yeah, and it helps the options that the captain has in front of him, because Abbott had a bit of an off day. Schwepson bowled his 2 overs. He got that big wicket, but he didn't complete his quota. So he knew he had someone like Moises Henriques to turn to, and he always seems to deliver. He's got that, it just seems to have that nagging line and length, that persistence rather than the pace.
Yeah, I mean, Moises Henriques is a very good captain. He captains the sixers in the big way. Captains New South Wales, and I think he thinks like a captain when he bowls. He's very smart. He always knows the right balls to be bowling, but he shouldn't be bowling 11 dot balls inside 4 overs. That's where India have to improve. No matter what the result of the game, you can't be allowing a bowler like Moises Henriques just to roll up. He changes his pace, he changes his angles, he bowls cutters. Now and again, he gets one down a bit quicker, but you can't be playing out pretty much 2 overs of his 4 in dot balls. That's just not skillful enough from an Indian perspective. But he is a good option for Australia. He bowled nicely in the one-day game the other day. He just seems to have a good cricket brain on him. It helps when you really have a kind of a head on your shoulders that's ahead of the game. That's pretty much what Moises Henriques delivers for Australia.
Yeah, he was captain of the Men in Pink, the franchise from Sydney, the Sixers. And the man from Portugal. All Cristiano Ronaldo fans will swear by Moises Henriques, because they said, he comes from the same part of the world, the same little part of Portugal as well. And they always brag about that. And Henriques himself, he plays it down a bit. But coming to their middle order, which Moises will be a part of, Zaheer, it's something Australia will need to be cognizant of, because they've obviously got some firepower at the top. They'll have a couple of new faces. Matthew Wade at 3, Darcy Short playing his first game. But as and when, if they were to fall short of that, these numbers suggest, and they're telling numbers, top 3 since July 19 versus numbers 4 to 7, you can see the contribution. I mean, obviously, you're going to have less runs and a less of an average in a T20 game, but this is significantly less. Have a look at this, Saeed. Have a look at this comparison.
These are the numbers which Indian bowling units should be looking at. And to really expose that middle order, you have to get those early breakthroughs. The numbers also suggest that that they've been depending on that top order quite a lot, and the top order has been delivering for them. So that is something which Indian bowling unit needs to look at, and create those opportunities in the first 6-8 overs, get them 2 down as early as possible, and that is going to expose this middle order and put them under pressure. The wicket has looked on a little bit on the slower side. What I'm really looking forward to see is the stack up of the overs from Indian side. You've seen Washington Sundar is at his best when he bowls with that new ball. So will Virat Kohli continue with that kind of approach of using Washington with the new ball and then using Chahar and then Shami in the middle overs to build that pressure, or he wants to give Shami the new ball? His numbers also good with the new ball. So that's one dilemma which Virat will surely be having, since you have Deepak Chahar, who bowls really well with the new ball, Shami and Washington Sundar.
Yeah, the possibility of seeing Hardik Pandya bowling his entire quota of overs if Jadeja's injury is serious enough to not allow him to bowl. But I'm coming back to that, just finishing, Michael, on the point about Australia's middle order. Yes, we showed some numbers in terms of 1, 2, 3 versus 4 to 7. But those 2 matches we highlighted, run a ball required pretty much, with 8 wickets and 9 wickets respectively in hand. They lost both those games. Are they just anomalies, or would you consider them a cause for worry?
No, I'd be worried if I was Justin Langer. It happened in the one-day game just the other day where they had the game and they controlled it, and all of a sudden India won it. It happened against England on a couple of occasions. I mean, Adil Rashid was the kind of culprit in terms of bowling some brilliant spells to see off Australia. But I do think when you play in Australia, the spinners can play a massive role, and particularly spinners and seam bowlers that bowl plenty of slower balls. Natijari is the left arm is going to be so important with all those different variations that he has. Jadeja's injury could be a key factor. If he's fit and able to bowl his four, I think India are going to have a real chance of winning this game, because I think they've got enough skill and know-how of how to kind of defend this total. If Jadeja's not able to bowl, Australia could potentially can win the game. But I always look at the Aussies and think if Steve Smith's getting a score, they generally get over the line. It's even though you've got the power of the likes of Wade and co, and you do need to be getting the key player out who can control the game. Finch is obviously a key factor in the first six. That's why I'd bowl Chahar to him. I just think anyone that can just move the ball has a chance of getting Aaron Finch. If you're bowling quick and it's not moving, Aaron Finch likes it. But anyone, you look at Bhubaneswar to Aaron Finch, just moving the ball either way, generally has him on toes, hits the pads. So I think that Chahar could be a key component for him.
Yeah, it's a clear 6+5 looking at that Australian batting order. It's a bit of a long tail from Sean Abbott downwards. But just to finish off, Zaheer, I had a glance and it looked like Yuzvendra Chahal was coming out to field as the 12th man. So maybe no Jadeja out there in the middle. But purely talking about him as a batsman here, we talk about Pandya as a batsman. It's really his contribution that's been so telling. And it's just how he approaches the game, his free-spiritedness. Sometimes limited talent, yes, but he picks the areas that he can hit and delivers.
Well, I mean, both of them, Hardik and Ravindra Jadeja, has come along very nicely in the last a few games. Particularly Jadeja has really improved his batting. He's a completely different player now. You can see the improvement in his batting and the confidence which he's walking with. And Hardik is someone has really used this time away from bowling to use to work on his batting. So that is also very evident from his approach. Today, if Ravindra Jadeja is not going to bowl, I think Hardik is someone who will surely be putting his hand up and providing that bowling option there. I felt that maybe he was prepared to bowl 2 overs, but he'll have to now continue with the 4 overs. And Ravindra Jadeja, since it's an external injury, I guess he can just walk in and bowl. He doesn't have to be on the field right throughout the game. So that might be expected once the power play is over. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But on the whole, I guess with the spin-friendly condition to a certain degree, you will want Jadeja also to contribute, and you'll see a lot of change-ups from Indian bowlers.
Yeah, well, all depends on the kind of injury. The physio will be busy in that change room to try and fix whatever it possibly is. What it means is Australia's approach with essentially 6 batsmen and 5 lower order players will be determined by that, Michael Vaughan. And since the My 11 Circle badge of honour was missed out by you by just 1 stroke, 4 runs, 1/6 of Jadeja at the end, and you would have been home and dry with that 170, give or take 5 runs. So what's it going to be for Australia? How hard are they going to come in the first 6 chasing this sort of a total?
I think they'll go very hard. I'm going to go 54. I think they have to come out of the traps and get ahead of the game.
54. Remember, Darcy Short and Aaron Finch are going to be out there. Is you in agreement, or are you going to go more patriotically less?
I'm going to go 42 for maybe 1 or 2 because I'm backing the matchup of Deepak Chahar and Finch. You've seen it in IPL also. Deepak Chahar really set him up nicely, with those outswingers, and then getting that 4th or 5th delivery coming back into him, which has really worked. So I'm backing that matchup in Deepak Chahar's favor. And going 42 for 1.
Yeah, well, this time around, I will slot in. There's a huge gap between the 42 and the 54, and I'm forced to sort of slip in there because anything higher seems too much. Anything lower, well, India have won the game and it's sealed it right there.
The day wouldn't have been completed without you slipping in there in between somewhere.
Oh, I just got sledged over there. Does that mean you're pushing me to go lower than that?
No. You stick to your prediction.
No, I was thinking, okay, fine, I will go with it. I will go lower. Why not? Why not? I mean, it's a new combination completely. The likes of Smith and Maxwell can fix things later from them. I will go lower. 36. Why not? Let's see how it goes. 36 in the 6 overs. Keep wickets in hand, and whatever they have to do, they'll do it later. Whether it's a result of Zaheer Khan coming with his silent sledges or not, we shall find out later. But just a quick one, gentlemen. We saw David Boone having a long chat with Justin Langer on the boundary before the players walked out. I'm wondering if that's got something to do with when and if Jadeja will be allowed onto the field. Possible?
Yeah, maybe. You're never too sure what the match referees and the coaches are talking about these days. There's so much complication across many different issues. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's David Boone just reminding Justin Langer that they are allowed to code. They are allowed to send signals.
Oh, and all that excitement. My AirPod just popped out. Trying to laugh about that. Yeah, I was going to try and find a clever line to reply, but I think you got it right over there. Yeah, let's see if those codes come out. But for now, it's going to be all about the code as what the bat hitting the ball and how hard they can come. Australian openers are out there. We've got a score prediction from all three of us, and it remains to be seen in which area Australia finish, because that'll pretty much determine the outcome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Zaheer. We'll see all of you in the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox, and it should be very interestingly poised in the 10th over in terms of how this first T20 International will go. We'll see you then. This has been My 11 Circle Presents Cricbuzz Live.